Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking with me, Denise Billen-Mejia, in Delaware, USA.
And me, Martin Furber, in Preston, UK.
This weekly podcast is for anyone and everyone who'd like to know more about the fascinating subject of hypnosis and the benefits it offers.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist.
I'm a retired medical doctor turned consulting hypnotist.
We are Two Hypnotherapists Talking.
So let's get on with the episode.
Okay, yeah, let's get on with the show indeed. And this week, Denise and I are very pleased to welcome fellow hypnotherapist Jackie Thomson. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Denise.
So what is the weather like in North Wales? We've been having some strange weather here.
Today, glorious. Yesterday, a bit thundery. You know, who knows? We live between the mountains, the sea, and everything else. So
sounds beautiful. And you have a therapy room, which you're recording this from, which I love.
I certainly
do you also see clients online?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What percentage do you think are online, and what percentage are locals? I'm assuming local-ish. They're not driving from London.
Probably 20% online. Maybe. I run groups online.
Tell us about your journey to becoming a hypnotist.
How long have you got?
Well, we've got as long as you like. The episode's about 30 minutes. So, no more than 20, please.
No, you're all right. I like talking, but, let's be realistic here. My journey. Okay. I had a very, very corporate business for a long time, which was my own business. I set it up when my children were born so I could be at home for them.
Nice.
And 26 years later, they'd all left home and I was still doing this very corporate job and I'd never really liked it. So I thought, time for me, getting older, don't want to be stuck in a job that I don't like. What am I going to do? And a life change gave me the perfect opportunity to set up a new life, new business. And I started off in a lot of spiritual, holistic work, but there was something missing. And I hadn't got I could work with people, but it was very difficult for them to make a change in any constructive way.
That's what we all do.
Yeah, exactly. So
so how did you find it though? How did you realize that was the piece that was missing? Did you just, like me, I just sort of fell over an intro course?
Yes.
That's it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw, I started getting interested and thought, wonder if I could do it. Not getting any younger, hadn't been in college for 40 odd years. That's a big gap between, leaving college and starting study again. And I thought, can I do this? And I came across the course that I ended up taking. They had an intro day, which I booked to go on. And life said, no, actually, you're not going on that. So I didn't make it to the intro day. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it.
So that was why don't you come and join our school? And you just said, I'll skip that bit and just go straight to the first day of class. All right.
Yeah. Best thing I ever did. Loved it. Loved the training. I felt like I'd found that missing link. I'd been a life coach for years, but it was that just getting over that, changing removing the blocks.
Yeah. For me, it was the second week of the intro course that I was taking. That was a free course. I suddenly did a 180. I'm like, this is what I should have been doing all along. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that I shouldn't have been doing medicine, but I should have had that with my medicine.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've commented on it, Jackie, so many times, and especially with so many of our guests on here. It's a second or third career for so many people. And of course, our mutual friend says frequently in her presentations, you know, nobody leaves school saying I'm going to be a hypnotherapist. It's something we sort of stumble across later in life. Makes you wonder though, nowadays with the increased popularity, if they're going to start putting it into college courses.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
It might.
And I know schools careers fairs are quite interested in having holistic therapies available. So
when you say schools, you mean schools or you mean colleges?
Here it's generally schools who they're sixth form.
That's
before
what I
they
thought you meant,
decide
yeah.
where they're going, you know, whether they're going to go to
Remember the
university.
conversation we had before, 2 languages going on, even though we appear to be speaking English. It is a bit different over here. Yeah. We tend to use the term school for any form of education, colloquially.
So you're talking about a careers fair aimed at 16 to 18-year-olds then, Jackie?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Yeah, actually, do the CNHC appear at such places?
I believe, well, I can't speak for around here because I haven't seen any, but certainly in London they were starting to appear at all of these.
Yeah, because they're coming far more prominent, of course, the CNHC.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and you know, I've talked to some young people, and they're quite interested in what I'm doing, and really, there's no reason why they can't do it. They can do hypnotherapy at university now, of course. They can actually get a hypnotherapy degree.
Which universities? Because I knew there was one, but it was disbanded. What's his name? Gary. Gary has a master's in hypnosis, but that, you know, they don't have funding at university level is a big issue. So they have to have enough students studying the subject to be able to have somebody.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, the answer to these, oh, it's woo-woo stuff. No, it's a real science thing. It's just got some interesting edges to it. Yeah.
I like that. Interesting edges.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were having a big discussion a couple of weeks ago in one of our other podcasts, of course, with the advent of such imagery now available on what the brain does whilst people are in hypnosis, of course. A lot of what people suppose to be pseudoscience can now be disproven. We can see the definite changes taking place when somebody's in a state of hypnosis. And it's very different to when they are thinking ordinarily. If they're sat at the computer typing away or doing some maths. Because Denise always says math. Or doing some maths or something. The brain is working very differently. Different areas of the brain are working when we are within the hypnotic state.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us more about your practice then. Where are you? You're in North Wales, aren't you, near Llandudno?
I'm in North Wales, near Llandudno, yeah.
Tell us about the people you serve, the kind of people you help, and what kind of help you give them.
Okay. Having said, when I first qualified, I will never work with weight loss. Guess what?
Yeah. It's like me and smoking.
Yeah. The universe has ways, doesn't it? Yeah. I work mainly, not wholly, but mainly with women who are probably 40 to 45 plus, who are finding themselves maybe going through menopause. Empty nest syndrome is a big thing. Kids gone off to university, you know, suddenly find themselves with a partner that they've been married to or not married to for some while, but they've forgotten how to be part of a couple because they've been mum for so long. The children leaving home has left a big hole in their lives. They've forgotten how to love themselves, how to do things.
And some may never have known.
True, yeah, that's very true. But they've forgotten about nurturing themselves and getting what they need from their lives because it's been so children focused. And then menopause comes along, you know, and they're feeling not quite like necessarily a whole woman anymore, and all of these things. So they are the majority of clients will be empty nest, menopause, weight loss, anxiety.
And are these people who are looking holistically at their life for counts, because you do life coaching as well, right?
I do life coaching as well.
Yeah. So these people are looking, what do I do with myself now as I'm looking at the next probably 40 or 50 years of life? Now what? Or are these people a specific problem that they want addressed?
They come with what they think is a specific problem, like I can't lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know I can't lose weight isn't the problem, it's a symptom of the problem. And once we start having conversations, then they realize that it's more than what they've come with. They don't come in saying, you know, fix my life. It's generally they come in because they're having problems with something.
No, absolutely. When it comes to food, and weight management issues, it's rarely about food. It's rarely about the food. It's the issues behind it that you need to deal with to stop people wanting the food. Or, I mean, to quote Denise, nicking her expression, we eat our emotions.
It's not my expression, but yes, indeed.
We do eat our emotions, and a lot of us don't even realize we're doing it.
Well, most of us don't.
Most of us don't, yeah. But you know, they'll come in, you know, I'm really anxious. I'm a very anxious person, and you know, and because I'm anxious, I'm putting on weight, and what comes first, the cart or the horse?
Yeah,
I don't know. And until we have that conversation, so they'll, you know, I might be talking to somebody somewhere. I was out for lunch today with a few people, and you know, somebody was saying, I don't know how you can stand up in front of a network and talk to people. You know?
Oh, I can help you with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, and then we talk about what it's all about. And you know, it's as simple as she doesn't really know what she needs to say, doesn't know what she wants to say. But it makes me so anxious, and you know, my heart's going, and I said, but that's normal. Yeah. If you're not a little bit nervous, then you're going to fluff it anyway.
One of the times I get most frustrated is when I'm with big groups of doctors and we're talking about people when they take beta blockers before they have to do a radio show or to give a talk. I'm like, oh, just look at what I do for a living. Talk to me.
Yes.
Again, if hypnosis was taught in medical school, we could get rid of that problem.
But we'd be out of a job, wouldn't we? Let's be honest.
No, the general public isn't at medical school. It's only
that's true. No, that's true. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that one. Yeah.
Do you personally enjoy public speaking then, Jackie? Do you like getting up in front of a room full of people?
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Yeah. And to see the aha moments on somebody's face. You know, I love doing events like that. And, you know, we had a conversation about this today. And I said, yeah, I get nervous. I said, but actually, I grew up around the theatre. So when I get on that stage, I am a character. I am the hypnotherapist or whatever I'm performing that day. I'm
not to imply she's pretending to be a hypnotherapist. She really is one.
In which capacity you're up there? Yeah, you could be up there as a life coach, of course, couldn't you?
Yeah. But I don't. It's not little old Jackie who, you know, actually wouldn't say boo to a goose in real life.
Right. But what venues do you tend to do? But do you do corporate events? So you're speaking to really large groups, or is it small groups so you can make eye contact with everybody there?
I prefer smaller groups, you know, maybe 30, 40 people in a room is comfortable. Would I do corporate events? Yeah, of course I would, absolutely.
If anybody with a corporation is listening, I'd be happy to come talk to you.
Absolutely.
I've got one next week, actually. I recently did a corporate event where the manager decided at the last minute he was going to let half his team attend because he didn't want the whole office to be taken up, you know, with my session, with the wellbeing session. And the minute I'd finished, he got in touch with me saying, oh, can you come back and do the other half of the staff, please? They're all kicking off because they missed out.
Yeah, that was That was an oversight, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got to go back there next week and present the same workshop to the other half of the staff.
Yeah. Yeah. But, get 10 or a dozen people in a more intimate setting and talking to them, that's good too. It's good for them. And I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier, you said about that aha moment. Yeah, I call it the light bulb moment. It is good when you're presenting to anyone. I mean, you get it, Denise, clients one-to-one as well, when you're discussing their issue with them, when you let them know you understand, and then you say something they relate to, you see that light bulb moment. And that's, for me, that's when I always know, yeah, I can help this person. They know I can help them.
Yes, and that is a beautiful moment. It's great when, and this is going to sound bad, but I've been through a lot in my life. And if I can say to somebody, actually, I do understand how that feels because I've been through that. And they say, have you? Well, you can't see that. Well, no, because I don't go around wearing it on my sleeve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've dealt with it, you moved on, and you're better for it. Exactly. Yeah. So you're just demonstrating your mental resilience, which is great.
Yeah.
They can see there's something on the other end. I mean, I'm a great believer. I was trained in solution-focused hypnotherapy, so it's always about concentrating on the desired result, the end game, what the client wants. And they can come with any number of issues, but we never revisit them. In the kind of therapy I do, we never go back to the original issue. We get all the attention focused on where they want to be, which I always think's we all practice different ways, but that for me, I get the most satisfaction from that. And I get the results as well, which is great. Of course, is what the clients want at the end of the day.
I'm definitely very much focused on the solution. But I'm also open to listening because, and I'm not saying you're not, Martin, but for me, people come in and I'll let them pour their hearts out once.
Right.
Just once.
That was, that's he'll listen to the first time too.
Yeah.
Then he's going to redirect them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once. Yeah.
Yeah. Because all your, I don't mean to suggest to anybody who's listening that we're implying that you're wallowing, but if your mind is constantly hearing the negative stuff that's been going on, it's just going to deepen that track in your brain, and we need to get you somewhere else.
Yeah, anything you.
And I'm not a solution-focused person.
No, but anything you focus on,
I do like solutions.
Anything you focus on, you will amplify. I mean, I can remember in my early days of training. With my tutor, when they were saying, don't allow clients to focus on the problems, to keep going over them. And I used to think, how rude. In my previous profession as a jeweler, when people come to you, jewelry, there are fewer things in life more emotive than jewelry. It's usually for a reason: birth, christening, weddings, engagements, and of course, mourning jewelry and what have you. And when clients used to come in and you were going on that journey with them, making a piece of jewelry, designing it, they would offload the problems to you. For some reason, I don't know why, people sort of viewed me as a therapist. Maybe it was a clue to the
foreshadowing.
Yeah. But and I used to do my best to empathize with clients and listen and show them I was listening, etc. So when I was first training to be a therapist, I used to think, how rude not to allow the clients to offload the same thing. And then it was explained to me why, and it was like, yeah, light bulb moment, got it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's good to listen to them though as well.
Well, people need to know that you're on their wavelength. If that's how we develop empathy with the clients, that they need to know we get their situation and we understand them. But then we need to use our skills to get them to where they've said they want to be.
Yeah, and it's interesting because quite often when they're telling the story, you hear what they're not saying as well as what they are saying. And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? Is to hear what they're not saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we pick up on everything, don't we? We see the body language, we see the movements, we even online you can still see it all. We do pick up on so much more than just what is said.
We do.
Yeah. Just making me think there, Denise, because you're smiling. I'm just thinking, how does it vary with you now, picking up on what people say as you treat adults compared to what you did face to face with
Oh,
children?
but that's so long ago that I worked exclusively with children. I don't know. The energy from, I mean, children, not adolescent children. They don't tell fibs. They don't cover stuff up. They'll tell you what's going on, unless they've been, once you've built rapport with them, obviously, because people clam up anyway. I actually was asked this morning by a fellow doctor if I saw children. I haven't seen kids as a hypnotist because I just haven't been asked to. So maybe I'll start getting referrals for that. That will be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's different. I think adults are just grown-up children. You used to say people tend to treat children as if they're little adults, which they are not.
No.
But all adults have got that child bit still kicking around. So it's actually very useful to go in that direction rather than try and go the other way.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how many people have done a little self-analysis before they come to see me, and they will speak to specific episodes or types of parenting as being the explanation for their issue. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But I think people are becoming more aware of how much we carry into our adult life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about this before, haven't we? About when as adults, Jackie, when we're in times of stress and when our stress buckets are getting full, sort of thing, any sort of voices from tormentors in our past can come back to haunt us, that kind of thing. Things that people may have done or said to us over the years, it can suddenly start replaying and appear out of nowhere, or apparently appear out of nowhere. Especially when people have perhaps been bullied as children or something like that, it can then come back as adults. I do a lot of work on that because I work with the LGBT community quite a bit, and I help people out who've dealt with earlier life marginalization and bullying, that kind of thing, and help them to move on from that, basically. So
yeah, that's a wonderful thing to be able to do, isn't it, really, to help people move on from what they've carried with them throughout their lives.
Yeah, I mean, as therapists,
this is unhypnotizing people with hypnosis.
Yes.
These are things that have been put in the same way that the good stuff gets in. It's the bad stuff gets in the same way.
Well, yeah, it's the same habits, isn't it, Denise?
So when you said the bulk of your clients are coming, your husband, is he pulling the same? I mean, it's a different thing in English than in American. Sorry.
Is he attracting the same clients?
Yes, the same client audience.
No, because we're very different people. The language we use when we're talking, on social media and things like that, he comes from a very different background as well. He's had very, very different experience to me. So, and interestingly, I tend to attract more women. I can't say he attracts more men. But,
do you think more women are likely to seek a hypnotist? This is the question for Martin, perhaps, because my clients suddenly have skewed male. Used to be almost only female, and now I'm seeing more men approaching, usually for specific. Most of them are older. The majority of people are my age range, which is I'm almost 70, but so they're well over 60 and into the early 80s. So I thought that was kind of curious because I assumed, and I think my voice online tends to be, "Hi, are you a female?" So I'm not quite sure how it happened, although I suspect there's more word of mouth than I'm hearing about. I live in a fairly small community too. There's a lot of people are locals.
Yes,
They're
I've
all
had
related.
a few men come along recently, and the last two have said, oh, it was my wife or my girlfriend recommended you.
Mhm.
And, you know, they come from for a very specific problem.
Yeah.
And I've said, okay, well, we'll have a go and we'll see, you know, how we go. And both of them, 2 sessions and done.
Yeah.
Yet their female counterparts would be, you know, they'll keep coming for months because they enjoy it so much. It just
Do their issues tend to be things that, like, you know, what I tell all weight loss people, this is not I don't hypnotize you and you go away and lose 300 pounds. I need to see you on a regular basis. So they tend to suggest to them that 3 months is the right amount of time to be well on the way. Obviously, they can bail before if they're having great success, but other issues I tend to tell them, depending on how I feel about them when I meet them, because a lot is personalized, right? But it will be, if you have this issue, I think we can take care of this in 2 or 3 sessions. So let's do 2 or 3 sessions. And then if I haven't fixed it by then, I'll let it go over for another session or 2 without any credit cards involved. Mostly because I've been really lucky. There have been very few clients who haven't really engaged in the process, and therefore they have change because they are willing to put the work in. And it's an unfortunate term. We have to find something else other than work, because it isn't like it's heavy lifting, you know, but they have to, you know, listen to the audio, show up for the appointment, believe what I'm saying to them, actually engage their imagination.
They need to be engaged.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And committed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the male population is definitely, and obviously they're not going to come with menopause, are they? Even though there is
unlikely.
There is a male counterpart, of course, but, you know, they're unlikely to recognise that. But the 2 I'm thinking of more recently, one of them was to stop smoking. I've only ever had one woman who wanted to stop smoking. And the other one was for nightmares. You know, I don't tend to get men come for weight loss. Interesting.
The nightmares is interesting. Was that from a particular memory that was haunting them, or just coming up? Okay.
Yeah, it was a particular memory, and it was just causing anxiety. So, you know, that's not to lessen the impact it was having on his life, but, you know, it was
a discrete thing that you could deal with.
We could actually hone it down, and he was willing. You know, he wanted rid of it, so he was willing to do the work. So it's
so 2 hypnotherapists in the same house then, and you're both attracting a different clientele. So you're not competing with each other then.
No.
I don't think hypnotists really have that much competition, because we just, different people come to us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this last time, weren't we? About Denise and I were having a conversation about male or female clients, which one would they choose, and this, that, and the other. So we had this huge discussion about why certain people would choose each one of us.
And that's interesting, because with Mark and I, and not just with the hypnotherapy, but with everything we do, if somebody comes to me and I think they're a better fit with him, I'll say, well, I think, you know, you would do well with him because he has that experience, and he does the same with me. So no, we're not in competition, and neither of us are in competition with anybody around in the area. You know, we welcome everybody, because different people are attracted to different therapists for whatever reason.
Absolutely, This, as I say, that was the bones of a conversation we had last week. That, you know, people do choose people, don't they, at the end of the day? So where do you see yourself going forward, Jackie, in terms of the direction with your hypnotherapy? You mentioned something about you and Mark have now got a retreat where you have people there for wellness weekends and that kind of thing. Do you see yourself doing more of that?
Yes. I also feel there's a real need for making some of this more available for people in terms of cost as well. So I run programs. I run group courses online because that makes it more affordable for people. Yeah. But I'm also actually I am putting together some online courses so people can do those in their own time at a much reduced cost to make it more accessible. I mean,
that certainly flew by, Jackie. We're at the end of the episode.
Brilliant.
Okay, so quick, because you didn't get the chance to advertise your wares. You must tell us the name of your practice and
your website,
and make sure you don't have to say it all out now. We'll put it in the show notes. I just want to make sure that people know that they can approach you because you work on Zoom, so they can reach out from wherever they are. And you do offer these retreats on a regular basis?
Yes, they're not generally just hypnotherapy, to be fair, but there will be elements of hypnotherapy included, but they're usually on a theme, the beauty within, or
people can find out more about this on your website, can they?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Well, we'll put your website in the show notes, and people can find out more about you and the kind of hypnotherapy you do, and all about your retreats as well.
Lovely.
Yeah. Lovely. So,
thanks so much. Great to see you again.
Yeah,
I haven't seen you for quite a while.
Thanks for joining us, Jackie. It's great to see you looking so well. Thanks for joining us. And say hello to Mark. Maybe we'll get him on as a guest at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell him Martin didn't know.
No, I just hadn't computed it. I'm getting old, Jackie.
Not as old as me. You're all right.
Okay, dear. See you soon.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed listening. Please remember, this podcast is designed to give you an insight into therapeutic hypnosis and is for educational purposes only. So remember, consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you've heard may apply to you or a loved one.
If you found this episode useful, you can apply for free continuing professional development or CME credits using the link provided in the show notes. Feel free to contact either of us through the links in the show notes. Join us again next week.